Today we're covering surds, and by the end of this video you will be able to understand and answer any question on them. If you're new around here, I'm Josh from Strong Students, where my brother and I help ambitious students like yourself master English, maths and just studying in general. If this video helps you at all, please let us know by liking, sharing, commenting or even subscribing to the channel. So how surds work is we can multiply two surds together. So say root AB, this is the same as root A times by root B. So understanding this rule, we can split up root 48 into root 16 and root 3. And the reason why I've done that is because root 16 times by root 3 equals root 48. So that's the same thing, I've just split them up into this format. But the square root of 16 is what? Well, it's 4. So we can say that this is the same as 4 times root 3, which is 4 root 3. So that is your fully simplified surd, and that is in the form k root 3, where k equals 4. So that's our first rule to understand, that root A times by root B is root AB, and that helps us to simplify surds. And all surds are, they're just the roots of numbers, the square root of numbers that we have to simplify and manipulate in some way. So let's look at root 50 and making this k root 2, where you're looking for square numbers within this number. So what is a square number within 50? Well, root 25. And what times by 25 equals 50? Well, it's 2. So we've got root 25 and root 2. What is the square root of 25? Well, it's 5. So we've got 5 times root 2, which is 5 root 2, where k equals 5. So that's your answer to that one. Okay, number 3 is slightly harder. We've got this 5 on the outside, but remember 5 root 27 is the same as 5 times by root 27. So we need to simplify this surd if we're going to get it into k root 3. Well, what is a square number in 27? Well, 9 is. So we got root 9 and root 3. What is root 9? Well, that's just 3. So we now have 5 times by 3 times by root 3, because the square root of 9 was 3. So 5 times by 3 is 15, times by root 3 is just 15 root 3. So that's our answer there, where k is 15. So we've got 7 times by root 20. Root 20 can be split up into root 4 and root 5. The square root of 4 is 2, so this is the same as 7 times 2 times root 5. So we've got 14 root 5 is our answer, where k is 14. So that is simplifying surds. We're now going to move on to expanding surds. So we're going to write 3 plus root 5 all squared in the form a plus b root 5. Remember, don't worry about the form. Just do the calculation. It hopefully should come out in that form. So 3 plus root 5 squared is the same as 3 plus root 5 times by 3 plus root 5. I will make a video very soon on expanding and factorising, but hopefully as you are a higher student, you should be able to expand and factorise. I'm going to use FOIL, which I also called the parrot method, because you can kind of make a little parrot afterwards, which I'll show you. But 3 times 3 first is 9, and then 3 times by root 5 is 3 root 5. Root 5 times by 3 is 3 root 5. And root 5 times by root 5, but we need to be aware of this rule. If we've got root A times by root A, then that is just A. Because if you think about it, say we got root 2 times root 2, then we multiply the numbers on the inside, that is root 4, and then the square root of 4 is just 2, and 2 is this inside number here. So root 5 times root 5 is just 5. So if we're simplifying all of this, collecting like terms, well, 9 plus 5 is 14, and 3 root 5 plus 3 root 5, you've got 6 lots of root 5. So we can see that is in the correct format, a plus b root 5. Okay, I want you to have a go at this expansion using whatever method you know how to expand. You can use the parrot method like I did up here. I'll draw the little parrot so you can see that. So this is our little parrot, little surprise little parrot. But yeah, there's a grid method as well that you might have learnt. So have a go expanding that and come back to me once you've had a go. Okay, so first calculation we do, if we're going to expand these brackets, we're going to do 2 times by 1, which is 2. 2 times by minus root 5 is minus 2 root 5. Root 5 times by 1 is just root 5. And then root 5 times by minus root 5 is just going to be minus 5. Okay, because root 5 times by minus root 5, well, that's root a times by minus root a. So that's going to come out as minus square root of 25, which is just minus 5. Okay, and then collecting like terms, this is just going to be minus 3 minus root 5. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, the final thing we need to be aware of, and this is grade 9, really difficult, is rationalising the denominator. Well, this rationalising denominator isn't too bad, but it does get worse later on. So let's actually try and understand what rationalising the denominator actually means. Well, the denominator, hopefully you know, is the bottom number of the fraction. So this is the bottom number of a fraction. Rationalising means to make this a whole number. The problem with root 3 is that this is a very long decimal. It's not a whole number. So to actually make it a whole number, we do a little trick. We just times by root 3 over root 3. Because root 3 over root 3 is just 1. And that technically means we're not actually doing anything different. We're just rewriting this fraction. So if we times by root 3 over root 3, well, top by top is 6 root 3. And bottom by bottom is root 3 times root 3, which is just 3. And then 6 divided by 3 is 2, so this is 2 root 3. So our rational denominator is actually 1, but you can just put your answer as 2 root 3. Okay, so to rationalise the denominator of this one, well, we just times by the bottom surd. And we make that the numerator and the denominator of the fraction that we times by. So we're going to times by root x over root x. So x times by root x is x root x. And then root x times root x is just x. So x divided by x is 1. So we just get root x in this case. And let's rationalise the denominator here. So what is our denominator? Well, it's root 2. So we're going to do 1 plus root 5 over root 2 times by root 2 over root 2. Well, this at the top here is going to be an expansion. So 1 plus root 5. And hopefully the denominator, you can see root 2 times root 2 is just 2. So if we're going to actually do this calculation, well, root 2 times by 1 is root 2. And then root 2 times by root 5 is root 10. So it's going to be root 2 plus root 10 all over 2. And that's our final answer. So we're going to have a look finally at harder rationalising the denominator. This is very, very difficult, but you need to be aware of something called the conjugate. When you have a denominator in the form a plus root b or a minus root b, you multiply by its conjugate. And the conjugate, right here, conjugate. The conjugate of a plus root b is a minus root b. So you just flip the sign in the middle. So if this was a minus root b on the denominator of the fraction, then the conjugate would be a plus root b. Okay, so we're going to multiply this fraction here, 2 root 3 over 2 plus root 3, by the conjugate of the denominator. We're going to make this the numerator and denominator of the new fraction. So we're going to multiply it by 2 minus root 3 and 2 minus root 3. You're going to see why we do multiply by the conjugate, because this makes the denominator rational. So this top calculation is an expansion. So 5 times by 2 is 10. 5 times by minus root 3 is minus 5 root 3. 2 root 3 times by 2 is 4 root 3. And 2 root 3 times by minus root 3, well, that's going to be 2 root 9. Sorry, minus 2 root 9. And minus 2 root 9 is minus 2 times by 3, which is just minus 6. Okay. Our denominator is also an expansion, so 2 times by 2 is 4, 2 times by minus root 3 is minus 2 root 3, root 3 times by 2 is positive 2 root 3, and root 3 times by minus root 3 is minus 3. So hopefully you can see by collecting terms on the denominator that minus 2 root 3 and 2 root 3 cancel, and our numerator will now be 10 minus 6, which is 4, and minus 5 root 3 plus 4 root 3 is just minus root 3, and 4 minus 3 on the denominator is 1. So we can see that this divided by 1 is 4 minus root 3, which is what our answer was asked to be expressed as in the original question. So hopefully that makes sense. So we're going to do one more of these kind of conjugate style questions. Well, it's asking us to write it in the form root 3. So we need to multiply the numerator and denominator by the conjugate. Well, the conjugate of 3 plus root 3 is 3 minus root 3. Just flip the sign in the middle, 3 minus root 3. So we've got another expansion. So 3 root 3 times by 3 is 9 root 3. 3 root 3 times by minus root 3 is going to be, well, minus 3 root 9. Root 9 is 3, so it's going to be minus 9. 3 times by 3 is 9. And then 3 times by minus 3 root 3 is going to be minus 3 root 3. Surds are very difficult. I'm sure you can understand that by now. And then the denominator, 3 times by 3 is 9. And then you can see, hopefully by now, that them next two terms will cancel, because 3 times by minus 3 root by minus root 3 is minus 3 root 3, and then root 3 times by 3 is 3 root 3, so they'll just cancel. And then root 3 times by minus root 3 is going to be minus 3. So collecting terms, we're going to have on the top minus 9 and 9 cancel. 9 root 3 minus 3 root 3 is going to be 6 root 3. And then 9 minus root 3 is 6. And then 6 divided by 6 is 1, so we're just left with root 3. So that is our final answer. Surds complete. Congratulations, you've now mastered Surds. If you found this video useful, please feel free to drop it a like down below, share it with a friend, or even subscribe to the channel. Your support really does mean the world to us, and it allows us to keep on making the content that helps you succeed. Please comment down below what videos you want me to make next, and feel free to check out some of our other videos to keep on improving your maths, English, and studying skills. Thank you so much for watching, stay strong, and I'll see you in the next one.